not the last time, and I will maybe ask Tara or someone to help take over this, posting our message about how to get help with your voting code. Um, so thanks everybody for being here. We already have 178 people. That's just really fantastic turnout, and I'm sure more people are joining as we get going. Really quickly, some introductions. I guess I will officially call us to order. Morgan McMurray is our events and meetings chair and is the host of this email. She's going to help us with timing, help us with unmuting and muting folks. Yeah, all of that. Do you want to say hi real quick, Morgan?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Please bear with us as we move through the meeting. We will be unmuting and muting as necessary, so please wait for us to do that for you. Please use the chat for any questions about the voting process, if you want to make a motion, etc. But please just keep it to those items. Please don't use it as a general chat. This is live streaming on Facebook right now, if you want to use that chat. But otherwise, again, thanks everyone. Yeah, I'll hand it back to you, Scott.
Yeah, thanks. So the other person I want to introduce, though she just went off to finish up the ballots and the credentials list, is Annabelle Backman. She's our technology chair, but is also chairing our tally committee for today and has done all of the work in the background to help set up the voting process. So do you want to say hi real quick, Annabelle?
Yeah, hey, I'm the person you get to blame if all this voting stuff goes sideways.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't. But we've got a lot of people helping with that, helping to manage that today. So I think we'll have a good meeting.
Yeah, I think so too. So also helping on the tally committee are Brad Bell, Tara Gallagher, and Rod Palmquist. And if you message, if you send an email, if you have any issues with voting or your voting code, you can send those to, I'm hearing feedback. Okay. Yes, a request to everybody to keep yourself muted if possible, and we will try and help with that. Tara Gallagher, Brad Bell, and Rod Palmquist are all going to be helping with the tally committee. You can message one of them privately, or even better, please send an email to tally at 43rddemocrats.org if you have voting questions. And once again, please leave the chat open to everybody. That would be great. I see Rod is giving me a phone call. If you could private message me, Rod, that would be a faster way to get a hold of me. Okay. What was I going to say? All right. So with that, I'm going to move into the actual meat of our meeting. Was there anything that I missed from folks? Okay, we'll go over the voting process pretty shortly. Okay, so the first thing up for us is approving an agenda. Morgan, can you give me access to share my screen?
Yes, one moment.
Get this up for everybody.
Okay, you're the presenter now.
Great, thank you. Okay, so all right, so I hope that everybody can see our agenda now. Essentially going to start with the chair's report, go into explanation of how endorsements are going to work. The meat of the meeting will likely be taken up by our endorsements, and then we have a budget amendment and some resolutions to discuss afterwards. Are there any amendments to this agenda? And I cannot see the chat right now, Morgan, so if you see something, please let me know. Okay, oh, I got the chat up. Yep, I see a move the adoption of the agenda in a second. Is there, I'm going to try this by unanimous consent. Is there anyone who objects to approving our agenda as is? Feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat when I ask for unanimous consent. Either way works.
Scott,
I
was
have a
there a
question.
need?
Yeah, just a sec. Annabelle, what was your question?
Yeah, I seem to recall you said something about putting PCO approval on the agenda that we had missed.
Yeah, we cannot do that.
Oh, right. So you
So,
haven't had given enough
yes.
warning. Great. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, sorry, was there another question?
Can't unmute.
Oh, we hear you. Oh, now we don't. Yeah. Hi, Lisa.
Oh, hi, Scott.
Yeah. What's up?
I wanted to vote to adopt the
Oh.
agenda.
Yes. No need to vote right now for this if you have an objection. Linda, what is your question if you want to unmute yourself?
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
So the two resolutions, was there advance notice on those?
There was, yes. They were sent out in our first email
Which went out when?
on the 6th of June.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep, thanks for that. Okay. I just want to say, Michael Furtakis, I saw your message. I can't reply to you right now. Okay, any other objections to approving our agenda? Okay, sounds great. We have an agenda now. All right, we have our May meeting minutes. Are there any corrections to our May meeting minutes? And the chat was just put in the, or the link to them was just put in the chat. Oh, getting some feedback, so please mute yourself. Any change to the May minutes? All right, hearing none, our May minutes are adopted. I've gotten a request that some folks are having trouble with their internet connection. So my request to all of you, as much as we really love seeing everybody, I wish we could all be in person. If you are not speaking or not planning to speak, if you could turn off your video, that would help folks quite a bit. I see a question about where do we vote. We're going to get to that very briefly. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen as I dive into my chair's report real quick. And actually, first up on that is kind of an announcement or message from Tara Gallagher. Tara, are you?
I am here.
Okay.
Hi. Actually, we just wanted to start the meeting with noting the passing of longtime member Imogen Williams. Many of you know her. Many of you may remember her from our in-person meetings until very recently. She was generally there with handouts and with announcements of upcoming forums and protests. She also was a PCO, was PCO of the year a few years ago, walked her precinct, and many others up through last year. She lived a very interesting life, devoted to social change and social justice. I'll post a link in the chat when I'm done to the obituary. Read it, not right now, but at your leisure. The family requested, in lieu of flowers or any other memorial, donations to Amy McGrath's Senate campaign against Mitch McConnell. Ordinarily, we would do a moment of silence, but it seems rather inappropriate for someone who was so outspoken on issues. So just next time you're at a city hall meeting or a protest or a forum, think about Imogen and take a moment of power for her. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tara. Imogen's going to be missed. So I want to start my chair's report by reading part of a statement that the 43rd District Democrats put out. Many of you received this via email. and then just a few comments on the current situation. So here's the statement. The executive board of the 43rd District Democrats stands in solidarity with protesters against the systemic violence and excessive force continually demonstrated by police against Black people across the country. This violence has resulted in the murder of Black Americans nationwide and in Seattle, including George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, David McAtee, Tarlena Lyles, Che Taylor, John T. Williams, Tommy Lee, Sean Fuhrer, and so many others. We call for justice for each of them and an immediate enactment of the reforms necessary to prevent future police violence against Black people and others. In a city, county, and state where Democrats hold large majorities, it is unacceptable that the police feel free to attack and arrest Black people and peaceful protesters with impunity. For too long, our elected officials have given in to the demands of the Seattle Police Officers Guild and avoided real reform. And that's the end of the statement I'm going to read and make some remarks myself. So I first want to say that we really acknowledge and are grateful for the absolutely tireless work of the organizers and community groups who have been organizing around these issues for a very long time. And we strongly, I think I speak for the whole board when I say that we strongly feel that now is the time that we need to help amplify and support them in their demands. I want to thank the 43rd members who have been helping to organize protests, attending them, documenting them for others to see, and contacting our elected officials to demand they implement the demand, what the community groups are asking for, such as the King County Equity Now Coalition, Decriminalize Seattle, Black Lives Matter, Seattle King County, and so many others. I also want to thank our elected officials, especially those who joined the front lines of the protests to de-escalate the Seattle Police Department and protect protesters on Saturday, June 6th. Folks or electeds that I saw there were King County Council Member Gurmai Zahalai, 43rd Representative Nicole Macri, 34th State Senator Joe Nguyen, and Seattle City Council members Teresa Mosqueda, Dan Strauss, Andrew Lewis, and Lisa Herbold. Councilmember Shama Swant also has been on the front lines of the protest and was maced and tear gassed by the Seattle Police Department alongside other protesters and residents of Capitol Hill. That their efforts to de-escalate were necessary, where we had elected officials going to the front lines at a moment of need to get the police to back off of these protesters, I think really speaks to the need that we have to rethink how policing is done in our city. We know that we have work to do as a party, both at the state level and here in the 43rd, to build a more welcoming and representative organization. Our board is discussing ideas on how to do this, some of which we're going to discuss tonight, and then we would really welcome input and suggestions that you all have. As I mentioned, that work starts tonight. I'm looking forward to the discussions we're going to have, both about endorsements and resolutions and our budget amendment. And as we have those discussions, I just want all of us to keep an open mind about the ideas that at first might seem radical or unrealistic to us. Most of us in the party, and I'm certainly speaking for myself here too, are active in the party because we believe in something which most other people might declare unrealistic. Some examples of that are free healthcare for everybody, or hitting net zero carbon emissions by 2030 or 2035 to stop climate change, or building enough housing to end homelessness. We're already united in these demands for restructuring our society, and I hope that we can listen to communities that know their needs and are telling us what policies they need and that we should support in order to make that happen. Yeah, that's the end of my statement on those issues. With that, I have one other announcement to make, which is that this is going to be the last meeting which Jesse Weinstein is serving as our PCO committee chair. I forgot to include electing a new PCO committee chair on our agenda when it was first set out, and there are notice requirements in our bylaws, so we aren't going to be able to have that election tonight. But Cody Olson, who is the vice chair of that committee is going to help lead it through July, and then we'll have an election in July. So please let us know if that's something you're interested in being a part of. So with that, that is my chair's report. And so Linda mentions a thank you to Jesse. Thank you so much, Jesse. You have been a huge help to all of us. It's been really fantastic working with you. So you will be missed, and we wish you well in Boston and wherever you end up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. So with that, Annabelle, do you want to give a quick explanation of how the endorsements process is going to work in voting?
Sure. Sure, I can run through that. I'm not gonna really present anything here.
Yeah.
But hopefully a lot of you have gone and cast your ballots in the sample poll. If you have, then you've seen something of what this is going to look like. And I see a good 105 of you, 120 submissions, 113 unique ballots, 105 valid ballots. And I think most of those invalid ones are people poking at the system, which is great. I love it. That's why we have a sample ballot. So a lot of you have seen what this looks like. You should have a voting code that was sent to you by email. It is 8 letters and numbers long. If you have that, great. If not, please contact Tally at 43rddemocrats.org and we'll get that sorted out for you. So as we do our endorsement election, our votes, you will go to a page on our website that has links to all of the ballots that we'll be voting on today. There's a separate link per ballot. So you'll see a ballot listed for Lieutenant Governor, another one for 43rd LD State Rep Position 2, et cetera, et cetera. You'll want to click through that, and you'll see a form that asks you for basically 2 things: your voting code, that thing we talked about earlier, and what your vote is. So you fill that out, you hit submit, and you voted. That's it. You submitted your ballot. We'll be tabulating ballots and processing them on the fly. So unless, if everything goes smoothly, we should have results very quickly. I think Tara just linked the website in chat. It is linked on the 43rd website as well, and we can make sure that there's a very prominent link to that. So I mean, that's basically it for the voting process. If we have surprise votes, reconciliation votes, things like that come up, I will be adding those ballots to that page, so they'll still show up there, and we'll vote on them just the same way. Most of the ballots that are the endorsement ballots that are up there now are now open for votes, so people can go and vote in some of those if you know who you want to vote for. The slate is not. I opened it briefly. I saw a couple of people vote, and then I realized, wait, there's a possibility that we alter the slate, so I closed that one for the time being. Those 2 of you people who already voted, it's fine. Your vote is there. Don't worry about it. But for everyone else, you'll see the slate is still closed for voting. Once we approve the slate, then we can open that one up. And then as we go through hear speeches and everything, we'll start closing out the ballots once it seems like everybody's gotten their chance to vote, and then we'll be able to share results. So that's about it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Annabelle. I will go more into the explanation of what percentages are needed for endorsement after we get through the slate. So One other thing I want to note or highlight, as Annabelle mentioned, the ballots are open. So for folks who had to join early and then leave, you're welcome to go through and do those voting. We recommend if you stick around and hear from the candidates if possible. You never know when you'll hear something new. I think there are a lot of great candidates running. It should be great. RV is asking how much time after speeches do we have to vote? That is not strictly defined. We want everybody to be able to vote. So if people are having issues, we're going to keep that open longer. And just be sure to let us know if you're having problems. We're going to do the slate as one of these votes. So it should be a good test or practice for us all in order to do that. The last thing I want to mention is Maddie Vonhoff is standing by at her phone in order to help people who can't access the forms for whatever reason. So Maddie, do you want to say hi real quick, or yes. So Maddie has posted in the chat. If you cannot access the Google form because you're not on a computer, because your internet died, whatever reason, please try and or text Maddie. If you are able to fill out the form, please do that instead. We don't want to overwhelm Maddie with texts. Okay. What is next? Morgan, it looks like somebody is restricted from joining the meeting. I don't know if that's something you can help with. Okay, so going to the next thing on our agenda. Does anybody have questions about the voting process? If you have individual issues, please email tally@43rddemocrats.org. But if there's any questions about the voting process in general, you're probably not alone, so I want to hear them now. How do you tell if your vote was tallied? That's a great question. Annabelle, do you have an answer to that?
Yes, we will be posting links to pages that show a live feed of ballots that are coming in. Those ballots are anonymized though. So in order to validate, identify your ballot, you need something called a verification code. It looks a lot like a voting code, but it's not a voting code. This is something we added kind of literally last minute, like earlier this afternoon. So we haven't sent these out to everybody because I didn't want to send out another email of codes to confuse people. If you go to the website though and go to the page to request membership status, it's literally 43rddemocrats.org/membership-status. If you submit that form, the email that it sends you now has your membership status and your voting code and your verification code. With that verification code, you basically just look for that in that list of ballots, and you should see your votes there. You'll see both the raw data we got from the form, and then you'll also see our processing of it and whether or not it's flagged as a spoiled ballot for any reason. So you'll be able to see that there. Yes, voting has opened up for some of the ballots, the endorsement ballots, except for the slate.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that, everybody. And so with that, there will have to be a motion made there won't be a motion made. We're going to ask everybody if we want to have further debate after the candidates speak. So I will dive into that more after we do the slate, Michael. Okay, so with that, Sam, are you ready to go over the slate?
I am. I'm going to go
Great.
try and present that in just a second.
Great, thank you. Sam McVitie is our elections chair.
All right, am I successfully presenting the slate?
Yes.
Outstanding. Okay, so just briefly, this is the set of folks that we believe have broad support in the district and either have minimal Democratic opposition or no opposition. So I'll just read through them, and then we can entertain motions to remove anybody and otherwise vote on the slate. So in Congressional District 7, Representative Pramila Jayapal. In District 9, Representative Adam Smith. For Washington State Governor, Jay Inslee. For Secretary of State, Gail Tarleton. For State Treasurer, Mike Pelliciotti. For Attorney General, Bob Ferguson. For Commissioner of Public Lands, Hillary Franz. For Insurance Commissioner, Mike Kreidler. For Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Rakedal. For Legislative District 43, Position 1, Nicole Macri. For the State Supreme Court, Position 3, Raquel Montoya Lewis. For Position 6, Helen Whitner. And for King County Superior Court, Position 19, Nelson K.H. Lee. And for Position 51, Cindy Port. And so we will now entertain motions to remove any of those folks from the slate.
Yes, and very briefly, I just want to say the slate should not be read as a endorsement or non-endorsement. If candidates aren't on the slate, it doesn't say anything about whether the 43rd board supports them or not. It is just solely that we think there will be a contested vote and the membership will have different opinions. So yeah, wanted to add that. And yeah, as Sam mentioned, is there anyone any 43rd member who would like to motion to remove one of these folks from the slate? You can type it in the chat or unmute yourself. Sam, could you just scroll up in the list again so folks can see the whole thing? Okay, I'm gonna say it's going once. All right. Atharan, can you share your name? I do not know who you are. Austin Simmons. Okay, great. Okay, so that's a motion to pull Adam Smith from the slate. Are there any others? Any others? Any others? Okay, so with that, we have our slate. So we're going to pull Adam Smith off of the slate. And then we will vote on the approval of the rest of the slate. So this is when everybody needs to get their voting codes ready. It does not require a second to poll someone. Yes, any member may request that a candidate or ballot measure be pulled from the slate and that things are considered individually. So, so we have our slate. Annabelle, could you drop put the ballot for the slate into the chat?
Yes.
Okay, I see some questions about about whether that requires a second. I'm gonna post the rules from our endorsement rules in the chat. It is a single member required to remove someone from the slate. So, okay. Annabelle just shared the form. Is that correct? That's the link?
That is correct.
Okay. We're getting a message that it shows it's not open.
I just opened it a second ago. I shared it before I opened it because that's the way to do things.
Yeah. Okay. So if folks could just refresh the page, it should um,
Yeah.
either refresh the page or close and go there again. It should go through. Slate is still closed for folks. Annabelle,
That is. Oh.
Clear your cache.
Okay, try it again. I think I must have accidentally hit the button again. Or maybe control, maybe, yeah, anyway, it's now open. It was not actually open. People were correct. I was wrong.
okay. Oh, we're getting feedback from somebody. Okay, it looks like it's open now. So thank you, Annabelle, for getting that set up. If folks could vote on the slate, that would be great. And again, please message. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. If folks could, we thank you for letting us know that the slate that it was broken. If that happens, please do it again. We need to keep the chat clear because the links very quickly disappear for folks in the chat. So yeah, really appreciate folks the enthusiasm and working together with us on this. Okay, so while people vote on the slate, I am going to go over our process for doing individual endorsements. So on each ballot for each race, we will be going through and essentially we'll take each race at a time. We're going to start at the federal level and then move down through state to legislative district to King County Superior Court. And what will happen is I will open up nominations. We're going to ask people to let us know whether to nominate folks in the chat. And we will unmute you briefly to hear you nominate them. And then candidates will have 2 minutes to speak in the order of their nominations. So whoever's nominated first will speak first, and then whoever's nominated after that will go proceeding in order. After that is done, we will take a quick vote via the WebEx platform, whether folks want to have what we're calling a debate that was added to our endorsement rules. That will be done, that will require a majority vote. There's no discussion on that vote. It's just going to be open for a minute and we'll get a quick read of the room. If there's a majority, then we will have a debate where each candidate will have 2 representatives, 43rd members, and 2 43rd members to speak for a minute each, either on behalf of that candidate or whatever, however they want to use that time. To our candidates, if you would like to split your time with someone who's introducing you, as people have tended to do in person at times, that's also fine. Just let us know when we unmute you. And Morgan is going to be keeping time for everybody with her phone. And so she's going to unmute herself. And Morgan, if you could give a 30-second warning to people, just quietly. And then when her phone goes off, will be the notice that your time is up and it's time to wrap up. After that, we're going to have people vote just like you're doing on the slate. The way that will work is people will vote. Annabelle has the results, all the sheets set up to kind of automatically tell us. You may vote for as many candidates as you would like or for no endorsement. Each candidate receives over 60% of the vote will be considered endorsed. if candidates do not reach 60%, there will not be an endorsement. We have many races that have only 2 candidates. So it is unlikely we will go to reconsideration, but in the event that a candidate receives over 40%, but under 60%, and they do not have an opponent who does so as well, we will have a reconsideration in that race where it will be between the candidate and no endorsement. Please do not vote for candidates and also no endorsement. That will spoil your ballot and it will not be counted. And that is the voting procedure. Did I miss anything, Tara or Annabelle?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Do we have a do we have the ballot ready for Congressional District 9, Annabelle?
No, we do not.
Okay. So
Do you want me to prioritize getting that ready?
you do not need to prioritize that, but
Okay.
if we could get that ready when we're able to, that would be great. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to post the link to the eligible candidates here. And so we are going to start with the lieutenant governor's race. So I'm going to open the nominations for Washington State Lieutenant Governor. The eligible candidates are Marco Lias and Denny Heck. So the floor is open for nominations. All right, I see a nomination from Michael Zetterberg to nominate Marco Lias. Is there a second for Marco Lias? All right, there's a second. And I also see a nomination for Denny Heck as well as a second. So with that, we will move to candidate speeches. Is Marco on the call for Senator Lias?
I see your name. Yes. Okay. There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Excellent. And 2 minutes, you said?
Yes, we have 2 minutes. And do you have video on or?
I think I do. There we go.
There you are. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Super.
All right. So yeah, feel free to start whenever you're ready.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm Marco Lias, lifelong Washington State Senator and college professor, and running to be our next lieutenant for 2 primary reasons. First, I believe I'm the most qualified for the central role of the task, which is to be our Senate president, the only senator running. Moreover, I'm our Senate Majority Floor Leader, have had responsibility for helping run the Senate and ensure we get our progressive legislation passed. It's that experience has led our current Lieutenant Governor, Cyrus Habib, to endorse me in the race, calling me the most qualified candidate. But I'm also running because I believe we need a bold, progressive candidate in this role. It's not enough just to have a Democrat. We need a bold, progressive Democrat to move our state forward. We have a long 12-year record in the legislature on issues from reproductive health and justice to climate action to advancing the causes of the LGBTQ community that set me apart. I also have a bold vision for the future of our state. I want to make sure that we tackle an inclusive economic recovery that focuses on middle out, not from the top down. The gains the last 10 years have gone to the millionaires, to the billionaires, to the big corporations. It's time we invest in Main Street and invest in a green transition, a Green New Deal for Washington. I also believe we've got to protect core state services in this recession. That includes making sure that we're protecting our pathways to education from austerity approaches like we saw in the last budget. I voted against the budget in 2011 because of the austerity approach that we took. I also want to make sure we are expanding access to health care. I'm the only candidate that supports universal single-payer health care along the line of Washington.
30 seconds.
And then the final issue is equity and social justice. I've been talking about this since I launched my campaign in March, but clearly the amazing work that peaceful protesters in Seattle and around the state have done, around the country have done to raise this issue to the forefront. We've got to tackle policing reform. I turn back a donation from our state troopers. It's time for candidates to pick a side, and I'm picking the side of police reform and justice for the people of Washington. And we've got to tackle inequities in healthcare and education and opportunity. Proud to have the support of Jamie Peterson, my friend, Becca, and progressive members, as well as honored to have
you. Is Representative Heck on the call?
I am indeed.
Excellent. Hello. Good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.
So yeah, Morgan, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Take it away.
Great. Well, thank you. I think the most important thing you can know about a candidate for any office is what are their most important values. So here's mine. I believe in the importance of standing up and speaking out and advocating on behalf of the vulnerable and never, ever letting up on our fight for social and racial and economic justice. We're engaged in that great battle right now. And the big question is this an inflection point? Are we actually going to move the needle this time? We have a chance to do that, but it's up to you and me and our party and everybody who holds public office. I've put my money where my mouth is. I've been out there on the streets 5 times, lending my voice and support of this effort and this movement. I am a proud co-sponsor of the Justice in Policing Act, the most comprehensive law enforcement transformational measure ever introduced in the House that we're going to pass. But you know, the issue is much greater than that because the problems are systemic. It's healthcare, it's housing, it's education, and we have to tackle all of them. It's also structural. There is a legacy, indeed a 400-year legacy of discrimination in this country that must be overcome. And that's why I am a proud sponsor of the Reparations Commission, because we have to attack the systemic and the structural nature of this problem. We cannot let this opportunity go to waste. We must move the needle this time. Those are the values I'll bring to the job as Lieutenant Governor, just as I did in the 5 terms I was elected to the State House when I was the leading advocate of tax reform measures. Those are the values I brought as Chief of Staff to Governor Gardner and as the founder
30 seconds.
and first president of TVW, your favorite public affairs network. Those are the values I brought to the United States Congress when I stood up against President Trump in my position on the Intelligence Committee to hold him accountable and help lead the impeachment efforts. I would be so honored with your support. I have a majority of the legislative districts, a majority of the labor organizations, Governors Locke, Governors Gregoire, and I would be deeply humbled if I were to add to that view. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now we are going to test out our debate polling. So Morgan, if you could set up a quick, should we have a debate poll, and send that out for a minute, that would be great. A couple other announcements. We do have the ballot set up for CD9, so that will be up next. And yeah, Morgan, how's it going with that poll? Morgan, are you there?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Are you able to get the poll up?
I'm sorry. I think I was cut out there for a second.
Oh. Yeah. Could you get a debate poll out just for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. The poll will show up on your chat screen briefly. Also, a couple other things I'm going to request. If you are not speaking at this moment, if you could turn off your video, that would help folks a lot who don't have as strong of internet connections. So thank you very much for that. Yes. Yeah, that's the poll, Morgan. All right. Everybody should have a poll that just popped up beneath your chat window. If you could just answer that really quickly, that would be great. I think we can just do a minute on this, Morgan. I don't know that we need to do the full 2 minutes.
Make sure to click the submit button.
Yeah, thank you for that.
To send
Yes.
in your vote on.
Okay. Um,
I'll go ahead and close it in just a few seconds.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have the results of that?
Yes, it's doing the little buffer just in case last minute folks wanted to submit something, and then I will share the full results.
All right. I'm seeing that folks are not interested in having a further debate. Sounds good. Thank you to both of the candidates for speaking. So if we could post the ballot link in the chat, that would be fantastic. Does somebody on the tally committee have that handy? I can also do it. Yeah, thank you to those. Okay. There is a question. I see folks that have some questions about how to vote. If you could send those to tally@43rddemocrats.org, we can get that settled. Holly has a question about where to put the verification code. It should be at the top of the ballot. It will be the first question. It will be required.
Yeah. The question is it where to put verification code or where to put voting code?
It's verification code. Thank you.
Okay. You do not need to put verification code into the ballot. The only thing you use the verification code for is to look for it in the live results feed to make sure that your ballot showed up. Your voting code and your verification code are connected together. So you put in your voting code, and then what we end up showing in the live results is your verification code.
And is there a link for the live results?
It is, yes. I'm adding them as I'm putting them out. They're being added to the page on the 43rd website with all of the ballot forms.
Okay, great.
Under each ballot.
If you're like me and have not seen them, then you might want to refresh the page on that. Okay, thanks for that. Annabelle, how is it looking on the slate results?
As in where
are we done voting
votes?
or?
Let me pull that up.
We take a look at that and we'll do Congressional District 9.
So we haven't had any additional votes in a past couple of minutes now.
Okay.
And we are at 194 unique ballots.
Okay, sounds good. We're likely good there. There's a question in the chat which I want to answer real quick. The system will, you can submit your ballot multiple times and the system will take whichever one is the last one that you submitted. So if you made a mistake or you changed your mind, if you made a mistake or changed your mind, you can submit it again and that will be fine. But your ballot will only be counted once. Okay, so Annabelle, are you ready to present the slate results?
Yeah, I think, do we want to close out the slate then? I haven't actually done that yet.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
I think we can close the slate.
All right, let's do that. That means I have to pull up the form. Give me a moment.
Thanks for bearing with us, everybody, as we figure out the process. We're gonna, once we get it, we're gonna start flying through these.
Okay, we actually did just have a couple of people vote, like just now.
Okay, sounds good. We'll leave that open. Let's move
Yeah.
on to Congressional District 9. You have that that ballot is there.
The ballot is up.
Okay, so we have only one candidate is eligible for endorsement in this race. So I will, and that is Adam Smith. There will be an opportunity for someone to speak against endorsement for 2 minutes. So I will open up for nominations for Congressional District 9. Are there any nominations for Congressional District 9? All right, I'm seeing multiple for Adam Smith. Adam Smith has been nominated. That is all of the eligible candidates, so we are good there. If folks could email tally@43democrats.org for their verification code questions, that would be great. Or if Tally Committee people could answer the chat, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so with that, we will have a speech from Representative Adam Smith, or I saw Alex Stone here. I'm not sure if Representative Smith is with us.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. Is it okay if I get started now?
Yeah, Morgan, are you set?
Yes, go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, great, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Stone, and I'm Congressman Adam Smith's political director. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it to the meeting tonight, but I'd love to share a little bit about Representative Smith. First of all, he's a leader in the House. As the new chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, he is in the position to push for more of our shared progressive priorities. In this past 2020 National Defense Authorization Act, he was able to secure 12 weeks of paid family leave for all federal employees. In addition, he remains really committed to ensuring equality of opportunity for all people in our country. That includes fighting for changes to racist policies, fighting systemic racism. Additionally, he's very proud to support Medicare for All, the Green New Deal, and continues to fight for our workers in their unions to make sure that everyone is well represented. And finally, just would like to say that he is proud to represent this district that he's lived in for his entire life and would be honored to have your support tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Alex. Okay. For folks,
just a meeting. You're in the meeting feed, right?
Yeah, somebody is unmuted right now who needs to be muted. Thanks. Okay. Was there someone who is interested in speaking against endorsing Adam Smith? Please post in the chat if that is you. All right.
I see someone raising their hand. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't know. A singer. I see your hand raised. Is that intentional? Maybe. Okay. No.
Not hearing anyone. We're going to pass on that opportunity. Okay, so could someone from the Tally Committee share the CD9 ballot? Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. If you could label those in the future, that would be fantastic. Okay, thank you for that. I saw a request earlier for folks for us to set an exact time limit on the when we're going to close the ballots. So Adam Smith is the only Democratic candidate in the race, correct? So for the slate, let's leave it open for 4 more minutes until 8 p.m. For Lieutenant Governor, let's just give an extra 5 minutes to that. I think these are taking about 5 minutes each, and we'll continue on so forth. So I appreciate folks' support of Adam Smith. Please do not leave additional comments in the chat. We will mute you if needed. Okay, so moving down our list, and if somebody could from the tally committee could answer questions about verification codes in the chat, that would be very helpful. Moving down the list, we have Washington State Auditor, where Pat McCarthy and Joshua Casey are both eligible for our endorsement. So I will open up the nominations for State Auditor. I see a nomination for Pat McCarthy, which has been seconded. There's a nomination for Joshua Casey. Is there a second for the nomination for Joshua Casey? All right, there's a second for Joshua Casey. So with that, we can move to speeches. Is Pat McCarthy on the call? There are many of you for us to scroll through.
I'm not seeing Pat McCarthy, but if you are on over the phone, please speak now.
Yes, feel free to unmute yourself. If there's a campaign representative from Pat McCarthy here, please let us know. Okay, not hearing anyone. I will throw it to the group. Michael, do you want to speak for Pat McCarthy after making the nomination?
Scott, can I interject real quick?
Sure. What's
a heads up to anybody who is looking at the CD9 US Rep public results. I realized the sheet that was pulling in results from the wrong race. It was pulling in results from the slate race. I have fixed that. So if you are looking at that CD9 live results page, if you refresh that, you'll see the results or the status for CD9 and not for slate. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that update. Okay, so again, is there someone who would like to speak for endorsing Pat McCarthy? I will give the first chance to one of the two folks who nominated them, Michael Maddox or Philip Weiss, but outside of that, it is open to anyone. All right, last call for anyone who would like to speak to endorsing Pat McCarthy. Okay, I don't see anyone. I will read Michael's statement here, which is she's the incumbent and is doing great. There is a question about not having a questionnaire for McCarthy. The board voted to exempt Pat McCarthy and also Bob Ferguson from that requirement. As we
excuse me, we have a form from McCarthy.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, we received one.
Thank you. Okay, great. Sorry, I was thinking of someone else. Okay, so is there a speaker for Joshua Casey?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, hello.
Hey there. How's it going?
Going well. There you are. Hi.
Cool.
Okay.
You guys
Morgan,
see me okay?
Yes. Morgan, are you ready?
Yes, whenever you're ready, Joshua.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Joshua Casey. I'm running for Washington State Auditor. I'm running because I believe I can make a difference when we need it most. I'm the only candidate who has a CPA license, the highest standard of competence in the audit industry. I'm also the only candidate who's been auditing and accounting for his entire professional career, over a decade, including working at two of the largest, most well-respected auditing firms globally, PricewaterhouseCoopers and Deloitte. At PricewaterhouseCoopers, I was a member of the management team where I led teams that conducted audits for Fortune 500 companies. I've also performed financial audits of organizations like Fannie Mae with a balance sheet of over $3 trillion. Beyond my qualifications, I'm an LGBT and a progressive who believes Black Lives Matter, and that to get a more fair and equitable government, we need those who care about changing inequality in all layers of government, not just in the legislature. I believe homelessness is an issue we can solve together. I also believe there are greater steps we can take to reduce our environmental impact on the world. And I believe that is not going to come from someone like my opponent who has taken money from the oil and gas lobby. The people are crying out for change. I'm running because I can bring some of that change in how we hold our government accountable. We need someone who doesn't have impairments to their independence and can audit based on fact, regardless of who they're auditing. We need someone who has proven leadership and actively leading large-scale audits. We need someone with the technical credentials, like a CPA, to lead the organization. We've never needed this more, as unemployment continues to fail Washingtonians and racial inequities persist in our state. We need change, and I'm a progressive Democrat who has the skills and expertise to bring some of this change. Washingtonians have a real choice this election when voting for
30
state
seconds.
officer to vote for a candidate with progressive values, experience, and leadership. Thank you all so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joshua.
Sure.
Okay, seeing as how we didn't have a candidate for the other, or a speaker for the other candidate, I'm going to guess that folks aren't interested in further debate on this race. If you disagree with that, put it in the chat right now and we can hold a vote. But otherwise, if someone from the tally committee could add the auditor or ballot, that would be fantastic. Great. Okay, and so we will close the auditor ballot at 8:15, giving about 12 minutes for folks. And we are now past 8 p.m. So Annabelle, do you have the results of the slate?
Let me close the ballot, and then I will get that to you in a moment.
Okay.
Like a moment is in just a couple seconds, so if there's business that we can continue
Sounds good.
into,
So
that might be advisable.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's keep going through the races, and we can get the results when you're ready. So okay, so up next is Legislative District 43, State Representative Position 2. There are two candidates who are eligible in this race for our endorsement that are running as Democrats. And they are Representative Frank Chop and Jesse Murray. And so with that, I will open up the nominations. All right, I'm seeing nominations for both Jesse Murray and Representative Chop. All right, thank you, everybody. If you could all stop nominating now, I appreciate that. We will start meeting folks if they keep nominating. I know you want to express your support for these two candidates. Okay, so nominated first was Jesse Murray. So she will be speaking now. Jesse, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
We cannot see you right now. Do you have video?
I think I do. Do you not see me?
There you are. Yes, now we do.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
So I'd just like to say ahead of time, I plan on ceding my last 30 seconds to Julia Reed.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just let you know when you're there, and then we'll pause and we can get her unmuted.
Sounds good. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessie Murray. I'm running for the 43rd LD representative position too. I'm running because we're facing some really big challenges right now. And I think that we're at a moment where people are literally on the streets asking for change. We need change in a major way, from progressive revenue to housing and homelessness to taking climate action. I have been calling for big structural change on all of these issues from day one. I've been an activist from my heart for over a decade. And, these issues have impacted me directly. I'm a young queer woman who rents on Capitol Hill. I take public transit. I've had family members try to move here and not be able to find housing despite being working class, who have lived on my couch for 3 months. I've faced healthcare issues, sexual assault, and mental health depression issues where the healthcare system has failed me. I've been an advocate for LGBTQ rights and reproductive rights for decades now, and I've made real change through the Reproductive Health Access for All Act, as well as robust advocacy for trans healthcare, especially. I would love for you to consider me. I think the district has changed significantly, and we need new leadership. I think we can't continue to tell young women that they need to run and then tell them to wait their turn.
30 seconds.
Okay.
And what was the name of the person you'd like to speak?
Julia Reed.
Great. Julia?
Here.
Okay.
I'm connecting. Sorry, internet went out just at the key moment. I'm Julia. I'm a member of the 43rd, and I'm endorsing. I wanted to speak for Jessie Murray. I think that in these times when things are really uncertain, there's a lot of pressure that we need experienced hands at the tiller. But I think a lot of us feel like we know which direction we're driving in, and what we really need is someone who's going to row like hell alongside us. And that person is Jessie. She has the urgency, the perspective, and the fresh ideas that are really going to make her stand out as a state legislator in this seat. And I think that it's time to have her voice in Olympia. So I hope you will all vote for Jessie. Was that the timer for my 30 seconds?
Yes, thank you.
Was. Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Julia.
I was like, we'll keep talking.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, are you, Morgan, are you able to unmute Representative Chop?
Yes, let me find. Okay. Representative Chop, can you? Yep, there we go.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, good. I've dedicated my life to social, economic, and racial justice. Last year, I enacted the workforce education investment. I thought up the idea and then got it done. It's an entitlement to free college and university tuition for all low-income students. Every year, it will transform the lives of 120,000 students, mainly students of color. It's funded with a progressive tax on corporations, including Amazon and Microsoft, bringing in $1 billion over 4 years. It's the best financial aid program in the nation. Looking forward, I have an agenda. Childcare centers all over the state are closing. The system is in danger of collapse. Advocates ask me, can you do for early learning what you did for higher education? I said yes, and that's why I'm running. I am promoting the concept of Social Security for childcare and early learning, with progressive revenue raising $1 billion a year. Homeless people with mental illness are suffering on our streets. Their struggles made worse by the pandemic. Advocates ask me, can you keep fighting for funding for public health, treatment programs, and supportive housing? I said yes, and that's why I'm running. I will fight for the HEART Plan, Health, Equity, and Recovery Trust, to promote healthcare for all with a progressive tax on corporations who pay employees over $500,000, raising $500 million per year. Climate change is wreaking havoc on our planet. Advocates ask me, can we build on the success of 100% clean electricity? I said yes, and that's why I'm running. I will expand the Green Power Blue Collar. I will expand the Green Power Blue Collar Coalition to protect and enhance transit, cut carbon emissions, and create good union jobs with environmental justice for all. Our district has been at the center of the protests that are driving change. We must eliminate police brutality and militarization. I pledge to continue learning and working with community partners as we honor the lives of George Floyd and so many others and confront the racism facing Black Americans. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Representative Chop. Okay, so Morgan is going to send out another debate poll now. So please vote in that. Vote yes if you'd like to hear a little more from 43rd members, or no if you're ready to vote.
The poll is open. Please go ahead and submit your answers.
Yep, and it's open for a minute. So thanks so much. I hear that we have slate results ready to go. We'll do that after this debate. And thanks again to everybody for keeping the chat clear. Really appreciate your cooperation there, and thanks for the folks on the tally committee doing the work behind the scenes to help make this all happen. Really appreciate it. Right? How much? I'm back going. How much time is left?
Oh goodness. People have 20 seconds left. Okay, I think.
How are we doing?
Okay. I attempted to mute everyone, but I think if you're calling in from like a mobile device, the administrator does not have the power to mute you in some instances. So just please make sure you are remaining on mute unless we ask you to unmute yourself or if we're unmuting you. But you should be able to see the poll results now, Scott.
Oh my goodness, this was close. All right, we are not going to have additional debate by one vote going off of this. So with that, we will share. I see people asking for the link to the ballot. I'm putting that in there right now. Yep. Yeah, don't worry, folks. So we're not going to resend the debate poll. The voting ballot should be open now. I see the feedback about the lieutenant governor results not being accessible. It's probably just a permissions issue.
I just fixed it.
Great, thank you. Okay, so everybody. Sorry. So it sounds like folks did not receive the poll link. Is that the case? It is a link in the client. Okay. I'm seeing a bunch of folks saying that. So let's redo that because we want to make sure everybody's able to vote.
Do we want to do that as a?
I would prefer not to. Let's do it in the client.
Okay.
So Morgan, are you able to reopen that debate poll?
Yeah, let me.
Or recreate it.
I'll recreate it here. Just one second.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. We couldn't share instructions because of the sound. So I'm seeing, what do you mean a link in the client? This debate poll is in the, it will show up in the WebEx meeting itself. There's not a link to anything else. It should show up beneath the chat.
Okay, I have the poll ready and I will be going live with it in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I hope that everybody can see the poll. It should have just appeared beneath the chat. Remember that you have to click a button and then submit. Submit your response. It's not enough to just click on yes or no. Annabelle, I'm hearing that the lieutenant governor results are missing names.
Sorry, are what?
The lieutenant governor results are missing the candidate names.
That is intentional because the ballot is not yet closed.
Okay.
So you can see that your ballot is there. If you look at the processed ballots sheet there, you can see using your verification code if your ballot is there, and that it, whether or not it was, whether or not there were any issues identified with it. What you're not going to be able to see is the votes, because that would let people know as voting was happening what the vote was, and that's kind of hinky.
Yes, we will announce the results, Linda. Okay. Is the poll closed?
For which? The only poll I have closed is the slate. I'm not closing polls on my own unless there's a.
Yes, I was referring to Morgan. It looks like the debate poll is closed.
different poll. Sorry.
Is that correct, Morgan? That this is
Yep, can you see the results?
I can.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we have 96 in favor of having a debate. 87 are against. So we will have an additional debate on this. Okay. So our rules suggest that we flip a coin to determine the results. That is going to be difficult, or to determine who speaks first. I'm going to try my absolute best to do this very easily. Here's the quarter I'm using. The back is Arches National Park in Utah. The front is heads. And I am going to save time, I'm going to just call it myself that if heads is up, we'll have a speaker for Representative Chop first. And if tails is up, we'll have a speaker. Is my video off?
Scott, we can't
Thank
see
you.
your video.
That was my mistake. I meant to be showing off this very normal quarter. Can people see me now?
I mean, I could present and generate a random number in Google Docs if we want.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this very quickly. I'm going to try and do this. Yeah, this is Arches National Park. I'm going to try and flip this where you all can see me. Here it is. And then this is the result. So tails, oh my goodness, I've now forgotten who I've assigned. Tails was Jesse Murray, correct? Okay. Hearing nothing.
Yes, it was.
It was. Thank you. Okay. So, yes, Tails of Jesse Murray. Thank you all for helping me out there. Okay. So for a speakers for Jesse Murray, it looks like the first one up will be Julia Reed again. And these speakers, sorry, these speakers will have, Yes, these speakers will each have a minute each.
Yep, so just a warning, you'll hear, you'll have 1 minute and you'll hear that ending tone at the 1 minute mark. There won't be a 30-second call out. Just a heads up.
Okay,
Whenever
great.
you're ready.
I feel like I can't build too much on what Jessie said, but just to recap, I think that she is someone who stands for progressive taxation, climate. Jessie's a tireless advocate for women's health and reproductive justice for all people, addressing this crisis, police accountability, and about folks who are ready to kind of row right alongside with us on these issues. I think Jessie's leadership is so important, and expanding transit. And Jessie is someone who rides transit, who rents, which is also the life that I lead. I don't own a car. I live in the district. Ride transit. Well, not right now, but in general, I ride transit. I also am a renter, and I think that those experiences are really important. And I think that Jessie can really empathize with what it's like to be a young person living in the 43rd, trying to make a life for yourself in this city, and trying to make a life for yourself in the state, and really caring about the direction that the state needs to be headed in and moving there with urgency. So I urge you to vote for Jessie.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. So then the next speaker will be for Representative Chop, and that will be Arvia Morris.
Okay, should I start now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, as a climate activist, I ask that you join me and support Frank Chop. The crushing unfairness of COVID-19 is a dress rehearsal for the climate crisis. We need bold progressive action now. Frank Chop has already been key in passing bold climate policies, 100% clean electricity, GHG reduction goals that are science-based. Franks is ready to lead on more progressive policies, including phase out of fossil fuel cars by 2030 and electrification of the building sector. Frank is eager and ready to work with progressive climate champions like Nicole Macri and Joe Fitzgibbon, who have endorsed him. Frank is the progressive labor champion for a Green New Deal. Frontline workers unions, including nurses, healthcare, grocery store workers, and teachers, have endorsed Frank. Green infrastructure means electrification. The electrical workers and construction unions have endorsed Frank. Frank's passion for social justice, skill, and experience as a legislator, and commitment to sustainable future make him the progressive we need in Olympia now.
Thank you, Arvia. Okay, up next, we will have Joey Weiser for speaking for Jessie Murray.
Hey, thanks. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. You're on the phone.
Perfect. What's up, everybody? My name is Joey Weiser. I'm supporting Jessie Murray because I believe we need leaders who are going to be progressive more than just during election season, right? We've had 25 years, for example, to do tax reform, but Frank never made that a priority. When we called for elected leaders to come and stand with us out on the front lines, Frank didn't show up. Frank says climate change and all these things are so important, but he only introduced, I think, 3 bills during the last session, none of which had anything to do with what he claims are his top priorities. And personally, as someone who's been out on the front lines of these protests, I believe we need more than just a reliable vote. We need someone who's going to push for systemic, equitable change, you know? And Frank has taken more police money than any Democrat in King County, to my understanding. It's completely unacceptable that he would take money from the Washington State Troopers PAC, especially since one of their officers was caught on camera right here in the 43rd telling his team to, quote, not kill them, but hit them hard, in reference to the protesters. And in my time working with Jessie Murray, she's made herself accessible, accountable, and has the moral fortitude to represent the 43rd. Yeah. And I encourage you to vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Okay. And then up next, speaking for Representative Chop, will be David Mendoza.
Hi, I'm actually reading a statement from Daniela Suarez, and this is it. I first met Representative Chop as a student lobbyist advocating for the state need grant. When that and the DREAM Act passed, it made college accessible to many students. Representative Chop understands the complexities of vulnerable communities. He listens and then takes meaningful action. He was also key in adding a student board member to each university's governing board. This month, I will complete my term as a student regent on the UW's Board of Regents. A student voice keeps the university's aims focused on serving students and the public. I am truly thankful for Representative Chop's partnership and continued advocacy for student opportunities. The support I received due to Representative's leadership is the reason I've been able to engage in politics and higher education as a young woman of color. I encourage members of the 43rd to support his candidacy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, David. Okay, so with that, we are going to, I'm sure some folks have already been voting, but yeah, Tara just posted the link for 43rd position 2. We'll leave that open for 15 minutes, so that will take us until 8:40. Yeah, thanks so much to both of the candidates and their representatives for speaking. Okay, going to my list. The next position we have up is King County Superior Court Judge position 13. The two candidates are Hillary Madsen and Andrea Robertson, and I will open up the floor for nominations. All right, I'm seeing nominations from for Hillary Madsen and seconds. Okay, so Hillary Madsen has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, Andrea Robertson has been nominated. Okay, so we have those two candidates nominated. Very quickly, there are some questions about the results for Lieutenant Governor. We are, Annabelle, how are the results going for the previous races? Do you have those available?
So I have the slate available. We can report those. That one was closed. I have not closed any of the others.
Okay.
Let me check on the
yeah. So
governor race.
All the others should be closed.
We're good with closing those out?
We are good. Yes. Thank you for that.
I'm going to close those out.
Okay. Thanks. What was it?
Sorry, when you say all the others,
not position 2.
You mean so Lieutenant Governor, State Auditor,
and Congressional District 9, correct?
I will close each of those out. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Let's wait. If you could work on preparing those results, we can do a results update after this race. Very briefly, I see folks asking about how the speakers were selected, and the candidates helped us or let us know which 43rd members they would like to have speak for them. So with that, Hillary Madsen, are you on the call?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Are you ready for me to begin speaking?
Yeah. Morgan, are you ready?
Yes, whenever you're ready.
Great. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Great. Okay. Hi, I'm Hillary Madsen. I'm running for position 13. As a lawyer, I've been able to present cases to 12-person juries in civil matters and in criminal matters. In King County, we have 7 judicial departments. I've appeared in 6 of them: family, ex parte, civil, criminal, dependency, and juvenile. But my broad legal experience isn't the only reason I'm running. When we have people in the streets chanting no justice, no peace, that's a powerful statement about a lack of confidence in our legal system, a lack of confidence caused by institutional, systemic, and individual acts of racism. We can do better. I began my legal career as a worker in the University District Youth Shelter, and I saw hundreds of teens who had nowhere else to go. They taught me how our systems and our institutions can sometimes work together to limit rather than expand opportunity. I've focused my legal career on people who cannot afford to pay for lawyers, children and youth, people locked up in jail, and immigrants in our detention centers. Some of the constitutional arguments I've been proud to make include strengthening our juvenile record sealing laws, challenging the use of solitary confinement against youth in King County, and investigating abuse at the Northwest Detention Center. I'm proud to have received the sole endorsement of the King County Democrats, as well as the 1st, the 11th, the 30th, the 31st, the 32nd, the 33rd, the 37th, the 41st, the 45th, the 46th, the 47th, and the King County Young Democrats. I'm asking for your sole endorsement tonight because I'm the best candidate to bring reform, because I'm committed to seeing and hearing from people who are marginalized, and because I have the broad legal experience this court needs. My name is Hillary Madsen. I appreciate your vote.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hillary. Okay, and then the next candidate is Andrea Robertson. Is Andrea on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Good evening. Thank you so much for hearing me tonight. I'm running for position 13, which will be an open seat. If you've reviewed my questionnaire, you know that I share your ideals. And personally, I want to see a lot of the same changes you do, both in the legislative and executive branches. I also want to see improvements in the judicial system. But a judicial position is different from a policymaker position or a legislative position. Trial judges hear trials. They hear evidence motions. They instruct juries. They make findings of fact and conclusions of law. They do that every day. In the last 18 months, King County Superior Court has lost 18 experienced judges. That's why I was recruited by multiple judges and why I'm endorsed by 70 trial judges at this time and nearly 200 attorneys. They know that I have the experience necessary to do this work. For the last 22 years, I've worked in the courts on an almost daily basis. I've handled over 50 jury trials as a sole attorney. I have handled hundreds of evidentiary motions. I've spent thousands of hours in court, and I've represented over 1,500 individual clients who find themselves in the justice system. I fight for better answers in court on a daily basis, better answers from police officers, better answers from prosecutors, judges, and juries. My opponent cannot claim this experience. While she indicates that she has both civil and criminal trial experience, she has handled one trial by herself. This experience that I possess is particularly important now in this post-COVID era. Over 3,000 backlogged criminal cases are awaiting time in court. This includes persons who are in custody awaiting a time to appear for their trial. Hundreds and hundreds more in the civil matter, including family matters as well. It is not time to learn on the job. I offer you the experience that nearly 200 attorneys recognize is important and nearly 70 trial judges recognize is needed. I would be honored for your endorsement as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andrea.
Yeah.
Okay. For Morgan, could you issue another poll for debate? For
Yes.
further debate? Yes.
I'm getting that ready now.
Thanks so much. All right, that will be up very shortly.
And it is open.
Yeah, so everybody should see the poll on whether you would like more debate or not down at the bottom. Please vote and then also hit submit on your answers. And again, if you're having trouble voting in, I think the only currently, or the only previous discussed race was 43rd position, representative position 2. If you're having issues voting, that would be, please let us know. So we want to help you. We're going to keep that open for at least another 5 minutes, but if you can't vote in that ballot, please let us know about that. Sorry that some folks aren't seeing the poll. If you go to, not sure where to pull up the poll from. I think for many of us, it just shows up at the very bottom right of your screen. there's a little polling tab. That's where it is. And also if you click on the three dots that are to the right of the chat and the participants button on the main screen, you can click on the polling there as well. Thanks for those who suggested that.
Would you like me to redo it for folks to try again?
Yes, let's redo it.
Okay.
Yeah, David, I think the poll was closed at the time when you tried it, so let's try it again. Morgan is just about to put out the poll again. Thanks for bearing with us as we try this all out online, folks. Really appreciate it.
Okay, the poll is going live right now.
Carl, we're redoing it because there were folks who were not able to see the poll, and we think we got that straightened out. So just want to make sure everybody is able to participate.
Scott, I am ready to do a results update for those 4 races. Do you want me to just go through them?
Could you hold off until we finish
I can do that.
This race? Thank you.
Let me know.
All right. It's giving people about a 10-second window to submit their answers. We had quite a few no answers this time around.
So if the poll disappears for you, you can click at the bottom of your screen or go to more options and click on polling there. And that will have it show up.
Okay, the results.
Okay, so I see the results. Both results were for no more debate on this. So that's what we're going to take. So appreciate that, folks. Okay. So with that, Annabelle, why don't we do this we have one last race to discuss, and then we can start digging into results. Does that sound okay to you? Okay. Hearing nothing, we're gonna get through these last ones. Yeah, thank you for sharing the link to judge position 3. We will keep that open for about 15 minutes. And again, please let us know. We're going to close the polling after this next race that we discuss for. We're going to close the polling for state representative position 2. So if you're having difficulties voting, please let us know on that. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we're going to discuss King County Superior Court Judge position 30. The 2 candidates eligible for our endorsement in that race are Doug North and Carolyn Ladd. So I will open the floor for nominations. Okay, I see nominations for Carolyn Ladd and also for Doug North. Is there a second for nominating Doug North? Okay, there's a second for Doug North. Thank you for that, everybody. So with that, we will have Carolyn Ladd speak first. I see you there, Carolyn. Hi.
Hi, thank you. I'm Carolyn Ladd. I'm running for King County Superior Court, Department 30. I will bring a commitment to social justice with me to the bench, and I would like to cede the rest of my time to Erica Evans. If I could.
All right. Yes, you may. Are you able to unmute Erica? Morgan?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Yes, we can. Yep.
Erica, you have 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'll warn you at 30. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, neighbors, friends, and family. My name is Erica Evans, and as a Black woman and as an attorney, I care about ensuring that our judicial system is unbiased and is made up of judges that value equality, fairness, and are free from bigotry and racism. Carolyn Ladd understands that every person that comes in front of the court must be guaranteed a fair shake and treated with respect. She is the only person challenging a King County Superior Court incumbent in any race. People don't pay much attention to the Superior Court races, and why would you? But when a sitting judge is sanctioned by our state's Commission on Judicial Conduct for making a racist statement in open court, that's when we should all sit up and pay attention. And let me be clear, I do not think that the incumbent is a bad person, but we just need someone on the bench with better judgment. We have an obligation to support candidates who have unimpeachable legal careers, and Carolyn Ladd, the vice president of the Washington Women Lawyers, is that candidate. Your vote for Carolyn is a vote to change the makeup of our local legal system. 43rd, let's vote Carolyn Ladd.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, so then up next we have Doug North. I see Doug on the call. Are you able to unmute him, Morgan?
Looking. I am not seeing Doug.
I'm on Doug and Lori trip.
There it is.
There you go. Well, we hear you now. So yeah, thank
Okay.
you for helping us out.
Okay, good. Sure. So good evening. I'm
please go
Doug
ahead.
Norrie. I'm running to retain my seat, position 30 on the King County Superior Court. I've been a judge for 20 years and have presided over literally hundreds of criminal, family law, and civil cases. To be a good trial judge, you need experience trying cases. My opponent has tried only one jury trial as sole counsel in her entire career. That is why I'm endorsed by over 95 trial and appellate court judges. My opponent has only 7 judges supporting her candidacy. My opponent is an experienced employment lawyer. She has worked in-house for Boeing for the past 20 years. But let's be clear, she is not championing the rights of workers. She has only one client whose rights matter, and that client is Boeing. When employees sue Boeing claiming that they have been unfairly treated or discriminated against, she defends Boeing. It is her job to get those workers' claims dismissed in court. President Trump is on a mission to appoint conservative federal judges. Shortly after Trump took office, my opponent interviewed with the White House for a federal judgeship. 5 years ago, I made a mistake and was admonished by the Commission on Judicial Conduct. During an evidentiary hearing, I said that a gang member is unlikely to be a white guy like me. I recognize that the state evidenced racial bias, and I have attended training to help make me aware of any unconscious stereotypes and biases.
30 seconds.
As Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. I've been endorsed by the 32nd, 46th, and 47th District Democrats. I would be honored to have your endorsement as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Morgan, if you could put another poll for debate, this would be our last one. And yeah, really appreciate that.
Getting it up. 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay, and the poll is now going live.
Thank you. All right, and I'll just take this opportunity to let folks know that we please let us know if you have any difficulties voting. We're trying to help folks with this poll and find it in the software. And sorry for those that are having difficulties. For the voting on endorsements, please continue to let us know if you're having difficulties.
Okay, just a few more seconds so folks can submit responses. Okay, results should be viewable.
Okay, so again, we have a 66 in favor of further debate and 79 opposed, with 6 abstaining. So we will not have further debate on this race. So if we could have someone drop the link for Superior Court position, don't have it, 30, that would be great. Thank you, Zach. Okay, and we'll close this one. I want to keep giving people ample time, so let's do it at 8:47. That's 10 minutes. On this,
we have time to close the position 2.
We are past the time. Has the tally committee helped out the folks that needed that?
Scott, could you just run down what time each of the currently open polls are closing for folks?
Yes, happy to do that. So Superior, we have 3 currently open. 43rd position 2, which was we were going to close at 8:40, but have been doing speeches. Superior Court position 13 is scheduled for 8:55, and then Superior Court position 30 is scheduled for 8:57. Yeah, so with that, we have the link to the endorsements, or to the ballot for Superior Court position 30 in the chat. Is there anyone who is not voted in position 2? Okay, not seeing anything. Okay, Sophia, is somebody on the tally committee able to help Sophia? Brad, Maddie, or Annabelle?
I can reach out, Scott.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we're going to hold that one open as someone is having difficulty, and let me know when that gets set. Okay, Annabelle, are you ready with some of the results?
I am.
Great.
All right, if my computer is, that is the question. Okay. I'm going to share my screen so everyone can follow along. So for the endorsement slate, we have the endorsement slate is passed with a yes vote of 179 to 6 for no, 0 for no endorsement, because no endorsement is not an option on that one. So that passed with 96.76% of the vote out of 185 valid ballots. We did identify 17 spoiled ballots. They could not have had an effect on the result. So I think we'll follow up offline to see if there were issues that led to that. But there's no concern about the impact on this vote. Yes, sorry, I will try and highlight the numbers that I'm reading off. So moving on to CD9. Sorry for the mix-up on this color. The conditional formatting got messed up. In CD9, Adam Smith wins the endorsement with 120 votes to 25 for no endorsement. These.
Yeah.
These links are on the ballot forms page. These are the live results links. Those have been updated to include ballot people's votes. Yeah. Yes, Adam Smith, 82.76%, 145 valid ballots, 15 spoiled. Again, no possible impact on the outcome. Moving on to Lieutenant Governor. We have no endorsement currently. Nobody reached 60%. Denny Heck reached the reconsideration threshold with 132 votes.
Yeah. Could we read the entire?
Sure. Yeah. So we have Denny Heck, 132, Marco Lias, 89, no endorsement, 12.
Okay.
Denny Heck has 58.41%, which is greater than the reconsideration threshold. So we have a reconsideration ballot there.
Yes, we do. Okay. Thank you for that.
Marco Lias is just shy of the reconsideration threshold.
I see the motion for reconsideration.
Yes.
Sorry, you do not need to make a motion. We will do reconsideration once we get through.
There is one thing to. Marco Lias is just shy of the threshold by 2 votes, and so with 20 spoiled ballots, it is possible there's something in there that could have swayed things. And as tally committee person, I'd like to look at the results closer and see if there's more of an if there's a those ballots would have an effect. Because if they did, then there's a possibility that they both reach the reconsideration threshold, in which there is no reconsideration.
So, thanks. What is a spoiled ballot in this instance, and how? I don't understand how we would correct that.
A spoiled ballot, we'll show process ballots, is, well, before you go there, a spoiled ballot is due either to, because it is, in this case, it's because the code that was given was invalid, or the code that was given was a revoked code, which is one of the, where we had accidentally issued multiple codes to people. Because of membership database problems. So there were 15 invalid codes submitted and 5 revoked codes submitted.
Okay. So how are you proposing that we resolve that?
So I mean, the first step would be to actually run the numbers and see if if we included those ballots, would they actually affect things? The impact value here is kind of it assumes that all of the invalid, all the spoiled ballots were votes for that person. So now I would want to go and look and see if they actually were, see how many of them actually were, and see what would happen.
Okay. Please go look at that. I am struggling with how we're going to incorporate spoiled ballots. I want everybody's vote to count, but it's going to be a struggle. So, okay. Thank you. So could you go through the other races?
Yeah, well, let's talk about state auditor. State auditor, we have Joshua Casey, 45.98% with 80 votes. Pat McCarthy, 48.85% with 85 votes. No endorsement, 7.47% with 13 votes. Nobody reaches the endorsement threshold, and both candidates reached the reconsideration, which means we do not have a reconsideration. And there were not enough spoiled ballots to possibly cause one of the candidates to reach the endorsed threshold.
Okay, thank you. So no endorsement in state auditor. Thanks.
Correct. And I believe, are we at a point to close out position 2?
Let's hold on for that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm going to stop presenting. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, I see a lot of folks. I am losing track in the chat. I really need folks to keep that clear. If you have a point of order or something that you need to move, please let me know.
Right. So I want to clarify some things because I'm seeing some of the comments, and I'm not talking about a revote here. What I'm talking about is looking at those spoiled ballots to make sure that they really should be invalid, because we're dealing with a new voting system here, right? New voting process, and as the person who put it together, I am well aware of the possibility that there could be mistakes in how we're processing those. So I do want to look at that and make sure that we are properly counting people's votes, and that it isn't a minor user error or a something that we can correct for, and make sure that that's. So I'm requesting a few minutes to look at that and see if there's if we need to adjust the whether or not those ballots are actually spoiled.
Okay.
Think of this as going back and double checking signatures on mail-in ballots when there's questions about signature. That King County Elections does that all the time for stuff. This is our electronic version of that right now. So please bear with me for a moment.
Okay. Thank you, Annabelle. So please do look into that and get back to us. For folks in the chat, I realize that some folks were trying to make motions and there's a lot of discussion. It sounds like the tally committee needs a little more time to consider the lieutenant governor's race. So I'm going to wait for them to hear back on that. We're not going to be re-voting on that race, but we might have a reconsideration and just need to consider that briefly. So thank you for that. Okay, yeah, really appreciate that. So that we actually have already voted for, I see talk about a motion and I do not know which motion. Sorry, there are too many people in the chat talking and discussing with themselves. So I need you to limit that. If you have something that needs to be said, please say that and we can have that discussion. I do see a question. So we cannot do raise hands for motions because the folks doing this can't see them. So if we are able to unmute people, So I see a motion that the chair should rule on the reconsideration threshold. I am not ruling. There is nothing for me to rule on right now. The tally committee needs to check their process, and they will get back to us with the results. So I also see a question about can we do, or can someone clarify the difference between revote and reconsideration? Revote would entail retaking all of the votes on this. We're not going to be doing that. A reconsideration is if one candidate has greater than 40% but less than 60%, and another is below 40%, then we will have a reconsideration ballot as to whether we want to endorse that lone candidate or not endorse anybody at all. Okay, so just a reminder to people that the positions for judges are still open. They'll be closing shortly. Maddie, were you able to help Sophia vote in 43rd Rep position 2? Or Sophia, could you let us know if you're able to vote? If so, then we'll close out.
I hadn't heard back from Sophia, but I think Rod was emailing.
Okay. If somebody from the tally committee could update us on that, we will close that vote at that time. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Thank you, Sophia, for your patience there. Okay. So moving on, sorry, folks, I have to go back to my agenda. We are through all of the endorsement races. Or no, we're not, sorry. There is one more. So that is initiative, we are through all the candidates. The next one is Initiative 131, an act to tax big businesses to fund affordable green housing in the city of Seattle. Many of you know this as the Tax Amazon campaign. So for an initiative, we don't have to nominate, it's just coming from the floor. So we're gonna have 2 minutes for a yes speaker, 2 minutes for a no speaker, and then we will vote on that. So I know somebody reached out to me earlier, and I'm sorry I don't have your name on who's speaking for the initiative. If you could unmute yourself, or Neon Park, okay, thank you. Neon Park is speaking for Morgan, if you could help unmute them.
Yes, 1 second. Neon, can you, I see you're unmuted. Go ahead. Perfect. Okay, you have 2 minutes.
Just a sec, Neon, you're breaking up a little bit. If folks could turn off their video if you are not currently speaking, would really appreciate it. Seeing a bunch of that happening. So, okay, sorry. Please go ahead, Neon. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Sorry. Can folks hear Neon? I cannot. Okay. I'm getting a lot of no's. Yeah. Neon, maybe if you turn off your own video, you can just speak to us with voice. That is better. Okay, yeah, so if you could speak a little slower, I think it will help. Okay. Dan, I'm really sorry. It's not possible to hear what you're saying. Is it possible for you to call into the meeting and speak to us that way?
Yes.
Okay. I'm putting the number in the chat. It is 408-418-9388. All right, and so we will look for Neon on the phone. So there's a question about whether we're considering a endorsing a measure that has enough signatures to be on the ballot. That's a great question. The Tax Amazon initiative is, or I don't have the initiative number in front of me, is not 131. Thank you. I-131 they are currently gathering signatures. The 43rd endorsement rules allow us to consider initiatives before they're on the ballot, as long as there is ballot language. So we are able to consider this. We can, unfortunately, we cannot open the resolutions until we get to discussing them, because it is possible they might be amended or otherwise changed before we're voting. So I apologize that we can't open those. I wish we could, and we're going to try and go as fast as we can. Okay, is Nyan here? Okay, since Nyan isn't available, I'm wondering if there's anyone else who's able to speak to the tax Amazon resolution or I-131. All right, Amy, I think you're up.
Okay, did we make a last ditch try to get Nyan on? Because I know she really prepared her remarks. She's not calling in. Okay.
Yeah.
So I still see her here in the meeting, but yeah, Nyan, if you've called in, please speak now. Otherwise, yeah, we'll have to go with you, Amy.
Nyan is call-in user 29.
Call-in user 29. Okay. Thank you. Folks, we're not discussing resolutions right now, so your motions are out of order. Thank you. Okay, call-in user 29. I heard.
She's asking how to unmute herself. She just texted me.
Can you unmute her?
I can do it. Yeah, 1 second. Maybe. Okay, Nyan.
Hello?
Hello.
Perfect.
I hear you.
All right. So sorry about that, everyone. So can I continue?
Please.
Please start from the beginning.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. My name is Nyan Park. I'm a graduate student and researcher in UW's Department of Chemistry, and I'm a member and head steward of UAW 4121, the union for over 6,000 academic workers at UW. I'm also an international student and part of our International Solidarity Work Group, and I'm here today to speak in favor of the resolution. As teachers, tutors, graders, and researchers, our work is central to fulfilling UW's teaching and research mission, but we're also feeling the effects of Seattle's housing crisis and UW's austerity budgeting. A majority of us are rent burdened, and many of us pay more than 50% of our income in rent. Many of us have to either live outside of the city of Seattle or in overcrowded houses and apartments. This burden is even heavier for international scholars like me. We face the added cost of moving overseas and having to travel outside the US to renew our visas, which many of us have to do every year. Housing is an issue also of academic excellence, We struggle to conduct our cutting-edge critical research on climate change and COVID, for example, while unable to afford to live in the city. Along with all working people in Seattle, not to mention the growing numbers of unsheltered people, we need more affordable housing. The Tax Amazon initiative will raise $300 million per year in progressive revenue to build affordable green social housing that is union built and open to all working people in Seattle. It will also help Seattle meet its commitment to hit zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. This is important because the burdens of climate change, much like Seattle's housing crisis, fall much harder on working people, communities of color, and other vulnerable communities. In short, passing this measure is a matter of economic and environmental justice. For these reasons and many more, our union voted to endorse Tax Amazon. Please join us in endorsing this campaign.
Thank you so much. Okay, is there a speaker against, is there a speaker for a no position on Initiative 131? Okay, Robert Mahon, you are welcome to speak. We don't have anyone specifically from the, I'm not aware of a no campaign. So if we could unmute Robert for 2 minutes, that'd be great.
Hi, so I wasn't expecting to speak, but I'll just speak briefly to it because I'm tracking this. And I guess I would urge the district to endorse a no position for a couple of reasons. This is a really complicated tax initiative that was put together in a very sloppy way. Right now, Councilmember Mosqueda has a much more thoughtful bill that she's introducing that is, I think, a much better way to tackle this problem than through the initiative process. The legislative process allows debate, amendment, a more thoughtful tailoring of the statute. I'd also counsel the district to think about this in a regional solution. This is a tax on jobs that could have negative impact for those who rely on downtown workers to eat in restaurants and shop in stores. It's too complicated to deal with in an initiative, and particularly an initiative that's drafted as sloppily as this one is. So I would encourage us to use the legislative process to tackle this problem. The council is acting. Councilmember Mosqueda is showing great leadership on this. So I would encourage a no vote.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. Thanks. Sorry. So that is it for discussion on that resolution. So we're going to put in the ballot. Does somebody have the link to that? Here it is. Okay. Thank you. So could I get an update from the tally committee on the 43rd position 2 race? If it just takes somebody recording Sophia's vote, that would be great. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, folks. So, okay, so if we could close the voting on the 43rd position 2 race, that would be great now. This is not a resolution. This is for the initiative, we are voting on whether to endorse it if it goes to the ballot and while it's gathering signatures or not. So you can vote for a yes position for us to endorse it. You can vote for a no recommendation, which would mean we would tell people to vote no, or you could vote for us to take no position. Okay, there's not a no position option on the ballot? Okay, it sounds like there's a no position option. Okay, yes, there is a no position. Thank you. Okay, so please continue voting on that. Annabelle, do we have results for the other races? I believe we can close all 3 of them at this point. We are past the time allotted. I also just want to speak. Sorry, what's that? Okay.
I will close them.
Okay, thank you, Annabelle. I also just want to speak really quickly to the folks. I realize that we're past 9 p.m., which is our typical adjournment time. We're trying to get through this as fast as we can. Thanks for sticking with us. It could be worse. I don't want to drag any other LPOs, but I think we're making pretty good progress. So we will finish up as quickly as we can. Okay. So we have what was I gonna say? We have we are now through endorsements. That is a great question on the threshold for I-131. Tara, are you aware of the threshold? I need to look it up briefly. I believe we still require 60% for a position.
For endorsement, for endorsing a position, it's still 60%. For for it to pass in the general election, that's 50.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you have something else to add?
I was going to say there's no reconsideration for ballot initiatives because there's no change in possible positions. It's not like there's a candidate who is eliminated.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so what was I going to say? Okay, it will be 60% of the votes in the tally. That's the case for all of these races. 60% of voting members. Okay, so jumping back to our agenda, since we are now through the endorsements, I know we're later than we wanted to. We did have a budget amendment on the agenda, but Annabelle was going to be the one. Yeah, actually, great question. Do we have an update on the reconsideration?
Not yet. I'm juggling a couple too many things here.
Okay.
So if you're going to ask me to talk about that budget amendment, now's a really bad time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to suggest we bounce the budget amendment question to a future, to the next meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to brief people on what we are discussing, what the board's been discussing.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. So since you were going to be the maker of that motion and we're supporting it, we can withdraw it and postpone. I will just say very briefly, the board met. We meet on the first Tuesdays of every month, so that was 2 weeks ago. And in looking at our budget, we see that in conjunction with the COVID crisis, as well as the ongoing protests in support of Black Lives Matter, that we have more money than we can effectively spend at this time. We canceled, we did not have to host our LD caucus like we thought to. We are not renting meeting space. It's very inexpensive for us to host this meeting. It costs us about $20, I think, a month. So our costs have dramatically lowered. We are not able to do things like print endorsement sheets or mailers for candidates because of our PAC status. So and also we had a bunch of folks sign up and join this meeting. I don't know where it peaked at, but I saw at least 250 people here. Really appreciate everybody renewing their memberships in the last month. So the board feels like what we should do with that, with some of our extra funds that we didn't have spent, was to contribute them towards mutual aid organizations, others fighting for reform to the police, Black Lives Matter. So that is that is something that we are considering how to do, and we will we are going to postpone that until July and come back and discuss it again. So so thank you for that. Just wanted to give folks an update of what we are considering on the side. Okay, so then Annabelle, feel free to jump in when you have an update for us. The next thing on our agenda are two different resolutions. The first is a resolution in support of defunding the police and investing in community. Is it possible for Morgan, if you could let me share my screen so I could share what this is.
Yes, one moment.
Thanks. And maybe I'm still able to do that. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, again, I have to get the chat up. Sorry, thank you all. Okay, so both of these resolutions are being presented by the 43rd Executive Board. I will just say it off the top, resolution supporting defending the police and investing in community. And this was drafted again 2 weeks ago, was the deadline for submitting our resolutions. So things have changed quite a bit on the ground since then, but the core demands that we're asking the 43rd to sign on to are not. I'm going to run through them very briefly here. So it's therefore be it resolved that the 43rd Democrats call on Mayor Durkan and the Seattle City Council to shift 50% of our public safety investment into the current public safety investment in the Seattle Police Department into community-led health and safety strategies and away from over-militarized aggressive policing tactics. Then next up is to reinvest that money in investments in communities. Third is for the city attorney to decline to prosecute protesters, including those arrested violating curfew and those living in encampments. Next is for a fully transparent bargaining process with the Seattle Police Department and the Seattle Police Officers Guild. Next is calling on labor leaders and rank and file union members to support removing police unions from MLK Labor Council. That vote will be happening. There will be a vote on that tomorrow, is my understanding. Then the last one is next is for the King County Sheriff's Office to cease fighting against the reformed inquest process of King County and make other reforms. And then next is that we call on our elected officials to support these efforts and with their votes. So, okay, so looking at that, I'm sorry, going through the vote or the chat, I see a motion to move this resolution with a second. So that's great. So the resolution has been moved and seconded, and the floor is open for debate or otherwise. I see a call to question on the main motion. Okay, we can do that. Could you, Morgan, could you issue a poll?
Yes.
Yes, so if you could do the yes or no motion.
I have to take presenter away from you to do this.
That's okay, that's fine. Okay, I will explain the poll. Okay, so the question has been called on the resolution itself. So if what you're going to be voting on via the poll, so Will's motion came before Alper's, so that is what is being considered. So I do not see Alper's motion first. So thanks everybody. So we are calling the question on debating the resolution. So you're going to vote in favor of the resolution if you want us to, or in favor of this motion, if you want us to cease debate and just vote up or down on the resolution. If you want to have continued discussion, or if you are looking to do something else, you should vote no on this. Calling the question requires a 2/3 majority to pass.
Okay, yep, so I'm getting the poll ready to open. Just checking my phrasing here. Would you like to cease debate on this motion and move to a vote?
Yes, that's great.
Great. Okay, and we're opening. There we go.
And this will be moved to a vote on the resolution itself.
And there is a ballot for that. That won't be via poll, just so everyone knows.
Yes. Yes, the poll is open. It should be at the bottom.
Okay, results should be visible.
Okay. So this passed pretty overwhelmingly of the votes that we have. There were 111 in favor of calling the question. There were 33 opposed. So the question has been called. So thank you all for that. So this vote is going to be via a ballot, just like you've been doing. You need to do that using your voting code. I'm sharing the link, although Annabelle, we need
this
you
is
to.
the defunding police.
This is defund. Yeah, if you could open that up,
Yes.
please.
It is now open for votes. I also have an update regarding our previous races.
Okay, if you could give me 1 second,
I will happily.
To that. Yep. Please use the second link. I think I'm worried the first one will take you to the closed version form. Okay. Thanks everybody for voting on that. I'm going to put in a link to the resolution real quick, just in case I should have done that earlier, and I apologize for not doing that. And I will do that for our next resolution as we get to it. Okay, so Annabelle, you said you had some updates for us.
Yes. So on investigation, I did in fact find a bug in tabulation and was able to determine that it did not seem to impact races. So I'm ready to give results on final results for Lieutenant Governor, 43rd position 2, and our Superior Court races.
Okay, thank you. Could you just confirm what you were saying, that that things are fixed and we are confident in the results We are. Okay.
Yes. I reviewed the spoiled ballots, identified that there was a one bug in how we were validating codes, and was able to fix that, retabulate, and then determine that it did not actually impact the results.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me on that.
Yeah.
So the final results.
Yeah, really briefly, Annabelle, sorry. I just want to say we will be posting all of these results publicly. So they will still exist after this meeting, and they will be verifiable. So just want to make sure that folks are aware of that. So, okay, so without further ado, please take it away, Annabelle. Sorry.
Let me go back to sharing the screen. So I'm sorry, I said they did not material. They excuse me. Right. On the lieutenant governor race, we do have a reconsideration. Denny Heck has 137 votes, 58.55%. Marco Elias has 91 votes, 38.89%. And no endorsement, 13 votes at 5.56%. So there is a reconsideration ballot for that race.
Okay.
For position 2, we have Frank Chop has 153 votes for 54.06%. Jesse Murray has 136 votes for 48.06%. And no endorsement is 4 votes at 1.41%. Both candidates reached reconsideration, but not endorsement, so there is no endorsement in that race.
Thank you.
Yes, someone's commented that the percentages don't add up to 100. That is correct. People can vote people can vote for both candidates to receive the endorsement if they wish, and most likely some people did.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good question. Understandable. Thank you. Okay. Superior Court Judge Position 13. Hillary Madsen, 157 votes for 78.11%. Andrea Robertson, 53 votes for 26.37%, and no endorsement, 4 votes, 1.99%. So we endorsed Hillary Madsen in that race.
Yes, thank you.
And then finally, the Superior Court Judge Position 30. Carolyn Ladd, 125 votes for 62.81%. Doug North, 50 votes for 25.13%. No endorsement, 24 votes, 12.06%. So we endorse Carolyn Ladd.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I want to say in regards to 43rd position 2, thank you. I think we have 2 really fantastic candidates in that race who I have a lot of respect for. And we will, because we won't be making an endorsement for the primary, but we will be discussing that again at our September general election endorsements meeting. So thank you all for that. Okay, are you, yeah, thanks for stopping. Annabelle's gonna get our reconsideration ballot set up. Is that correct? Or do you have?
Yes, I am doing that right this moment.
Okay, thank you. Would any of our endorsed candidates like to say a few words? Is Carolyn or Hillary still on the call?
This is Carolyn. I'm on.
Hi, Carolyn. Yeah.
Hi. I actually live in the 43rd, and I had the opportunity to visit with you all in person at Seattle College in February. So I am honored to have your endorsement. Thanks to all of you, and thank you to Erica, who spoke for me tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much, Carolyn. Hillary, I see you're still on the call.
I am. It's a little interesting to having the experience of having been the chair of the 43rd and then to appear on a ballot for endorsement in the 43rd. It's incredibly humbling, and I'm really grateful for the endorsement tonight. And I just put in the chat my website information so folks can check me out. And I'd love to get more volunteers. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Hillary. So I made the mistake and did not catch earlier when we heard both from Adam Smith, Alex is campaign manager, but I'm sure that they are very grateful for our endorsement. If Alex is still on the call, I didn't see her here.
The reconsideration ballot for lieutenant governor is up on the site. I am also going to paste it in the chat here for people.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Where is it on the site? I do not see it there. So going straight from the chat.
That's because I didn't hit the save button.
That would do it.
Now
yeah,
it's there on the site.
Yes. So from folks, Annabelle shared the link to the forum. It's also now on the site. Your options are to vote for endorsement of Denny Heck or for no endorsement. Okay, the reconsideration for lieutenant governor was just posted in the chat. Let me share it again. People are not seeing it on the. Oh, there it is. It's at the very bottom of the candidates. Okay, so we're going to hold this reconsideration open for Annabelle. How far away are you from having the other results?
A couple minutes.
Okay, let's say 10 minutes.
Are we ready to close those ballots?
The open ballots would be the initiative and the resolution.
The resolution.
Yeah. Is there anyone still waiting to vote on those? It has been. Okay. Let's give Rod a second. Yeah. Thank you, Rod, for volunteering on our tally committee. And as sometimes happens, tally committee members can forget to vote themselves when they're helping other people. So I want to make sure we get those in. Okay. Okay. So there's a couple people there. So let's hold off on that on closing those for the moment. Folks should be voting on the reconsideration. Will, sorry, what did you mean by 2 reconsiderations? I just want to make sure we're clarifying that. And I will say, I see a message from Alex Stone, Adam Smith's political director, that the congressman is deeply grateful for the 43rd's endorsement. So, Annabelle, could you confirm that we only have endorsement in one race?
Reconsideration, I think you meant.
Or reconsideration.
We only have reconsideration in one race, yes.
Okay, correct. That's what I thought. Yeah, to clarify for people on 43rd position 2, we are not reconsidering there because both candidates received greater than 40% and less than 60%. So there's nothing for us to reconsider. We're pretty evenly divided on that one. Okay, so let's knock out this last resolution, and then we can we'll be done with voting, and we're just tabulating the results. So this is the last thing on our agenda, as I mentioned. Could I share my screen? Morgan, if you could give me that ability again. Yes. Thank you for passing that back and forth between Annabelle and myself.
No worries. Okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Let me share this in the link. Okay. Okay, so this is a resolution. I'm sorry, I have to get the chat up every time when I do this so I can monitor things. This is a resolution calling for the resignation of Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan. Again, I will not, this is being presented by the executive board and was discussed at our meeting 2 weeks ago. I will not dive into the I will not dive into the into all of the whereases. In general, the whereases discuss the situation as it was 2 weeks ago. Just to remind people of where we were at then, that was the night after Capitol Hill was first tear gassed by the Seattle Police Department when there was still a curfew. Things were slightly different. The therefores call on Mayor Durkan to step down, and the step down or be removed by the city council, and the and for us to send this to other groups. Yeah, so that is the resolution. I hope you all are able to read it. Okay, so then opening the floor. Sorry, I'm seeing a few different things. Oh, whoops. Sorry, everybody. So not sure how that happened. Okay. Why am I getting this? Sorry. Thank you for canceling my sharing. Okay. Sorry, I have to catch up on the motions. If somebody could help me out who is watching one of my chat monitors, I would appreciate it. I see a motion from Paul Chapman to move the resolution. I see what I believe is a second to Paul and to Will. So that is going to be the motion on the table. I'm going to clear all of the other motions because there is a lot for me to get through. So yes. So the floor is open. I see a motion to approve the thing. If I do not, Batty or Tara, could you help me out here? Okay. Not hearing anything.
There was you were correct in that the
Sorry, I was typing. Yeah, it was Paul, then Shayna, then the motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. So the motion.
Oh, wait, yeah, okay, that's correct. Paul, then Shayna.
Okay, thank you. So the motion to move the resolution has been seconded. It has been motioned. I want to open the floor at this time. If you could just post that you have a motion, and then I will recognize you and you can share your motion, I would appreciate it. So I'm not going to accept anything. Okay, I see a motion from Philip Weiss. Philip, if you want to unmute yourself to share your motion.
Sure. I move to table the motion. While I support it, we need to have time to discuss it.
Sure. So Philip, can I clarify? I think what you're looking for is to postpone it.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Postpone until a future date, which would be the next regular meeting.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So I'm seeing seconds to that motion. Okay. Seconds to the motion to postpone. Okay. So we are now considering a motion to postpone. What was I going to say? I appreciate doing these online because I don't have to dig through my copy of Roberts. I can have things up at the certain time. So a motion to postpone is debatable, and it requires a majority vote. So uh, uh, yeah, Paul, your motion was on the floor, and folks are able to motion that then. So I'm gonna clear the floor right now. I wish I could just clear the chat so it's empty. So this is a debatable motion. So Philip, do you want to speak in favor of your motion?
Sure, I'll do it real quick. I I was one of the first people to sign the public letter. We're running late here. We need to discuss this. I see that some people have said this will happen after the vote. There is no vote in the city council at the moment pending to impeach the mayor or for anything like that. So we have time to let the 43rd actually consider this. I will speak very strongly at that time for it, but I think that we need to let people actually talk about this. Calling for a mayor's resignation that's something that we should be talking about.
Okay. So thank you, Philip. Is there a speaker against this motion? Okay.
The motion moving to postpone the vote because of the time issue during an endorsement meeting is not typical for our organization. We've literally held meetings all the way until midnight quite a few times. If it's inconvenient for people, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I see a motion to adjourn. I just want to say if we were to adjourn, we are not going to get our results on anything else that we have voting. So I would strongly recommend against that. If Linda, do you still want to make the motion to adjourn?
I do think I think we need to be a lot more careful about resolutions that come up after. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Linda, sorry, could you just confirm if you want to move to adjourn or not?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay. Is there a second for that motion to adjourn?
Can I have a second? Yes, there's a second.
Okay, there's a second. All right. So we're going, yeah, there's no debate on a motion to adjourn. I just want to clarify for folks what adjournment will mean is that we're not going to get our results on anything else. So I just want to make sure. So Morgan, could you get a poll up for this?
Sure. Phrasing on the question for it.
May I say something?
You may not. No, sorry. This is not debatable.
We will get our results. They just won't be here tonight. Correct? We've completed the voting.
Yes. Give me a second as I check my copy of Roberts.
Should I close out these ballots? I have not heard that.
Yes. Is anybody still waiting to vote on the previous ballots? Okay. We're going to vote on this motion to adjourn. Morgan, do you have that?
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So
Scott, can you answer whether I should close the ballots?
Yes, we will do good of the order after we adjourn, whenever we adjourn, if needed. Okay. So we are still on in terms of debating moving to postpone. So I see that Will has called the question on that motion. The ballots that are still okay. There's a second to the call a question. So we're going to call a question on voting to we're going to call the question on the motion to postpone this resolution until July. Morgan, are you able to modify your poll for that?
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah, sorry.
for the question now. Okay.
Someone from the tally committee, if you could list which ballots are currently open in the chat for folks, that would be fantastic. Thank
you. Okay, so we are voting on the postponement.
We are voting on whether to call the question on postponing the resolution. I think the ones that are, if you could put them all in one chat, Annabelle, or with one message, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, let me try that again. I will state audibly, the open ballots are resolution on defunding police, I-131, and reconciliation for Lieutenant Governor.
Reconsideration.
I keep saying reconciliation. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate all of the folks that are discussing in the chat. If you could please hold those comments, would really appreciate it. Thank you. The chat, you should think of the chat as talking in front of a room of people, and I know folks wouldn't be doing that in person. So please wait till you're recognized or ask for that. Okay. Morgan, do we have the poll ready on calling the question?
Yes, could you check Slack real briefly just to confirm?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Then I am opening the poll. Sorry for the confusion, everyone.
Drew makes the point that this chat is acting exactly like a 43rd LD meeting, and he might be correct, but
sorry, what does yes mean on this?
So yes means that you would like to vote on postponement without further debate.
So it's not yes to postpone.
This is not yes to postpone. No, it is yes to we want to vote on whether to postpone or not.
Sorry. So if I vote no, then we will not vote on postponing. We'll move on.
We will continue discussing it. So if you want to return to the main motion, you will want to vote yes on this and then vote no on postponement.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, so the question has been called. There are 84 yeses and 31 nos. That's greater than 2/3. So Morgan, if you could set up a poll now, which is, would you like to postpone consideration of this resolution to the July meeting?
On it.
Okay, we have not received any additional ballots for the resolution on defunding police in quite a while, so I am closing that poll.
Yeah, thank you, Annabelle.
Closing that ballot.
How about for I-131 as well?
I-131, yes, it's been a while there as well. I will close that. And by a while, I mean like over 10 minutes.
Yep.
It's been about 4 minutes on Lieutenant Governor reconsideration.
Okay. I'm going to do a last call for Lieutenant Governor reconsideration.
Okay.
We're going to close that after we take this vote.
Cool. I have the poll ready. It is opening now.
Okay, so the poll should be at the bottom of your screen. It should have popped up. If you need to get there, go to the three dots in the middle of your screen, more options, and click polling there. And I will just say that we're seeing the feedback that this polling is a little difficult for some folks. So we're gonna work on that and see if we can get that straightened out. I really appreciate folks' patience on this. This should be a simple majority. Let me confirm that very briefly. Thank you for asking that. Yep, yeah, this is just a simple majority.
I was mistaken on the defunding police resolution. It has only been actually a few minutes on that one. So should I open that one back up?
Is there anybody who still needs to vote on the defund police resolution? Please share that in the chat and we can open that back up. But otherwise, I think we're going to keep it closed. Okay, so the vote on this is 62 no and 61 yes. So we are returning to the main motion. The floor is open in regards to that. All right, I see a call to call a question. Is there a second on calling the question? Calling the question, which would mean that we are moving to, we're going to vote on voting. Okay, I see another move to adjourn. I am not clear if a move to adjourn takes precedence over calling the question. I'm sorry, we don't have a official parliamentarian here. If Angel or Scott Forbes or another experienced parliamentarian is on the call, motion to adjourn always takes precedence. Okay. So, sorry, folks. Here's what I'm going with. The motion to call the question was made and seconded. I think that closed the floor. So we're not going to discuss I'm going to rule the motion to adjourn out of order at this time. We're going to take a vote on calling the question. So thanks, folks. Okay. So if people want to, you're welcome to. That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I knew what I was going with. So challenge related to the chair. Okay. All right. So
can you hear me?
Yes.
You have to adjourn. Please take a moment. Just look it up, and Roberts will wait.
Okay. Does somebody have a page number for this?
It depends on your edition, but we'll wait.
So, okay.
We'll wait.
So I'm gonna stick by my.
No, you need to look it up.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. I'm gonna stick by my ruling that the floor has not been assigned. So I see motions to challenge ruling of the chair. This is not in regards to the endorsement process, so that's complete. That's so I just a sec, sorry. Okay, so Morgan, I believe this is debatable motion. So
Not debatable.
it is debatable to appeal the ruling of the chair. Thank you for that. I need folks to wait to be recognized. Thank you. So what how we can do this? Drew, do you want to speak to your motion to override the ruling of the chair? And I just want to be very clear to folks about what we're voting on, because I realize we're like 3 layers deep in Roberts. What happened? There was a motion to call a question that was seconded. There was then a motion to adjourn typed into the chat. My ruling is that motion typed into the chat, that Linda did not have the floor at that time. And so we are not going to consider that, and we're going to proceed with calling the question. So that is where we are. Drew has challenged that ruling, so which is the right of folks, so that you all are the deliberative body here. So what it's going to take is a majority vote to overturn the decision of the chair, which would result in us going to a motion to adjourn. So Drew, do you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, absolutely. I think you actually had multiple people in the chat that were telling you that your rule interpretation was wrong. I would also talk about something from a process standpoint, and this is something, unfortunately, I think if we were all in the room together, we would have an issue with, which is we're not using the traditional way of getting a motion. Someone raises their hand or someone shouts. This is the ways that we usually interact. We're doing it entirely via chat. So it's hard to hold the point that, well, I need to give you the floor when admittedly, because of the nature of the process that we're using here, that's not possible. And so it's really difficult to say, well, Linda didn't have the floor. Well, how is Linda supposed to even get the floor in this situation? At this point in time, using this system. So that's why I think we need to get back, and why, unfortunately, I know, Scott, you're doing the best you can. I'm telling you, you're wrong, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and no ill will. So thanks for helping us get there. I will speak just in my own favor here. I think that we can get out of this if we start taking votes. It is hard for me to see if we were calling the question, I would not in person. I do not believe that I would be recognizing additional folks at that time. And I'm trying to bring that to this chat or to this new process, and look forward to working out and making this more defined. So I appreciate everybody voicing their opinion. So in interest of trying to move us forward, is there any other debate on this? I'd really rather not call the question on this point.
No.
Okay, so we're going to move to a vote on the decision on whether to overrule the chair. So Morgan, if you could put up a poll that is, I'm going to put it in the Slack for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
It's in the Slack. Do you see it?
Yep. Poll is opening now.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. If you vote no on this, we will move to calling the question. And if you vote yes, we will move to an adjournment vote. Okay, the poll goes down when folks post in the chat. It is at the bottom of your screen, saying there's a little polling tab, and that's where it is. This requires a majority vote, just so folks are aware.
Scott, while we're waiting on that, would you like me to?
I actually would rather we wait if possible. We're pretty deep in this, and I think we're pretty close. Okay. So yeah, I see 31 in favor, 91 against. Thanks for that. So the ruling of the chair is upheld. We're going to move to calling the question on the resolution calling on Mayor Durkan to resign. Are you able to get that up, Morgan?
Yes, this is the calling the question on postponing the resolution.
Not on postponing. This is calling the question on the resolution itself.
Got it. Sorry. Thank you all for.
No worries. Yes. Yeah, we're deep in the weeds here.
We are very deep in the weeds. Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, folks. The question has already been called. And all of you buy me a drink. We're getting quarantined a while longer, social distancing, but I might take you up on that later. Yeah, and thank you to Philip for mentioning the poll. The poll has not been issued yet, and I'm going to ask people if they could stop typing because it goes away for folks when folks add to the chat. So.
Okay, Scott, confirm in Slack for me quick.
Oh, yep. Thanks. Yes.
Okay. Opening poll now.
All right. So for folks, if you vote yes on this, then we will move to a vote on the resolution calling on Mayor Durkan to resign. If you vote no, the floor will be open and we will have some debate, or folks can make other motions on this. Okay, the poll is at the very bottom. It can close when people type chats. Okay, looks like we're pretty unified in terms of calling the question on this resolution. So 94 in favor of calling the question, 24 not. So with that, we are going to with that, we're going to move to a vote on this resolution. We're going to do this.
I request the floor.
Okay, what for? Do you have a point of order or a point of information?
At what point will it be appropriate to move to adjourn? Can I move to adjourn now?
You may not.
That's out of order.
It is out of order. Yes.
You cannot move to adjourn while a vote is in progress.
Yes. So we're Annabelle, could you open the vote on this resolution and post?
The vote is not in progress. We just had the announcement of a vote.
Linda, you do not, we just called the question. That means there's no further debate. I'm not recognizing anybody else. We're going to vote on this resolution.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So Annabelle, if you could open.
It is open. Okay. I will
if you could share
post the link in the chat as well.
Okay. I hope that folks see the link up above to vote. Again, use your voting code and vote there. So Annabelle, you said you had some results for us, and now's a great time to do that while folks are voting.
Yes.
And sorry, real quick, I think we've gotten pretty good voting. I'm going to keep this open until, let's call it 10:20, give people 8 minutes. And we will do results, and then we can move to good of the order while we wait for the final results.
Okay. For a resolution on defunding police, yes received 127 votes for 83.01%. No received 26 votes, 16.99%. So we vote in favor, or we vote to adopt that resolution.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
On I-131, this was an endorsement. Sorry, I did the resolution first. It's a little confusing, but this was an endorsement. On I-131, yes received 125 votes, 65.79%. No received 65 votes, 34.21%. 0 votes for no endorsement. So we vote to endorse I-131.
Okay, thank you.
And then reconsideration for Lieutenant Governor. Denny Heck received 100 votes, 70.42%. And no endorsement received 42 votes, 29.58%. So we endorse Denny Heck on reconsideration.
Yeah, okay, so we have endorsed Denny Heck. Congratulations to Congressman Heck. I am sure that he has had other things to do and has left us. If there's anyone from his campaign still around, if you want to take a moment to say a few words, that'd be great. But otherwise, we will move on. All right. Thank you, everybody. So I respect that folks not to move to adjourn. We have nothing left on our agenda. So I'm going to open it up to good of the order for the last few minutes while we're waiting for these last few results. Tara, I think, did you have a good of the order, or was it what we discussed earlier?
It was what we did earlier.
Okay, so if anybody has anything they want to share about something coming up in the community or otherwise, Sam.
Yeah, hey, so I just wanted to call attention to a fundraiser for Lorna Murray's son, because Lorna Murray was recently dismissed from Alex Peterson's office, and I don't know the details of that, but she's a fantastic community organizer and an essential part of our community. And I personally feel like she got a raw deal out of this. And so I am sharing this fundraiser, and I hope the folks can support her and her family.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Could you post the link to that in the chat for folks? Yeah, thanks, Sam. Okay, it looks like Linda has a good of the order.
I hope this is good of the order.
The floor is open. It's yours. So you've got a minute.
Okay, I just want to say that I realize this is a very difficult forum to manage. And I think, as I put in the chat earlier, it might be good to assign one person to actually be looking for people who are looking for the floor, since you can't see people raising their hands. And I think on Zoom, one can see that. So that's a flaw in this platform. But I want to say further that when we run meetings on very difficult issues, very late, people drop out of the debate. 100 people have left this debate as we voted to ask the mayor or to demand that the mayor resign, as we voted on a 2-week-old resolution that is partly out of date and needs to be updated so that it's accurate for things that are moving very fast, as we have repeatedly over months and months voted on resolutions after the assigned adjournment time. I think what we do is make for a lot of rancor in this district that we cannot afford. We have to be much, much more attentive to the way in which we set up our meetings so that people feel included. And I know tonight there's at least one person who has said she feels very excluded. And I think that's very unfortunate. And we have a history of people leaving this district whom we've needed because they've felt excluded. And I'm saying this for the good of the order because our district is the strongest Democratic district in the state. And if we aren't strong, we hurt the whole state and we may even damage the nation. So I just want to keep that in front of us because we need to do better. Yeah. And I know it's been difficult. And Scott, I meant what I said when I said this is not easy to manage. But I think we have to think about how we manage the whole thing better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for thank you for that, Linda. I really appreciate it, and certainly agree we have room for improvement. So we'll keep working on that moving forward. Sorry, I was keeping a list, but I'm seeing multiple things. So Rod, I think, is the next one up with good of the order.
Yeah, hi. My name is Rod Palmquist. I'm one of the state committee members. Scott, I just want to express deep appreciation for you chairing this meeting tonight. I know it's been very, very difficult. And I think you've done a really good job bearing with a very unique situation. So I just wanted to express my appreciation of you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rod. I appreciate it. And I'm actually going to jump in here to say thank you to all the folks working behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. To Rod, Tara, Annabelle, certainly, who you all have heard from, Maddie, Brad Bell, working on our tally committee, and then Morgan helping to run the meeting, as long as with other folks. Really, really appreciate the efforts, and we're working. Okay, going down the list, I see Will has something.
Yes, I think what Linda said was good. I would like to remind people that there is a virtual Pride going on that you can participate in. There are also other virtual events. For example, the Fremont Solstice Parade will be a virtual parade this year. So please participate as you can. Remember to keep social distancing. We're not at stage 2 yet. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that, Will. Okay, next we have Shayna.
Hey, thank you so much for running this meeting. I want to say I really appreciated how the balloting was done. Really impressive compared to what other LPOs have done. So kudos to everybody who worked on that. And then I do want to throw out something, and I want you to know that this is coming from a really good place and a caring place. I would really like to see this board take some of the surplus funding that we have and invest in copies of Robert's Rules of Order, and also invest in a professional, legitimate parliamentary procedure training. Scott, you have done a great job chairing, but you've been chair for a year and a half, and it's really concerning to me how often you have to ask people what is happening with parliamentary procedure, and you don't have a parliamentarian on this call. So I just really think that that's something we need to look at. And I'm saying this with the best of intentions, because parliamentary procedure is supposed to make our meeting run better. It is not supposed to be a barrier for folks, and we shouldn't be having these massive fights over it because people don't know how the rules work. And then folks are throwing out things in the comment that are absolutely wrong. I literally have my copy of Robert's Rules here. I became a certified parliamentarian when I was in college, and like my copy here, I've got tons of, notations, and it's bookmarked. And literally I could point to any page on some of the questions that have been asked tonight. And it's just really concerning to me that there's not more investment in learning how this works to make our organization run really well. And I'm not trying to be critical or mean. Like I said, I'm trying to say this as kindly as possible. I really hope that this is something that the board will look at, because it will make our meetings so much better.
Yeah, thanks, Shana, and I take your comments in the framing that you mean them. So I think it's pretty clear we have something to work on here, and we will do that. So thanks for that. Up next, we have Paul.
I would like to thank all the people who stayed for these important votes. I know that there was a number of people who came tonight, particularly for these last votes. And I am thankful that we were able to get to these votes despite the attempts to cut off voting and whatnot on them.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, up next is Lori.
So I don't know how many people of color are on this stream who are voting. I happen to be one, and I am outraged that practically all white board is laying down and using my pain of what is happening in my community to advance your own agenda. If it's not important enough to stop and have a real discussion with the membership body, it is appalling. And I cannot stress how upsetting this is to me, and why so many people of color that I know that I have approached to join this body have said no. I'm happy that these votes make you feel better, but it does nothing to move this movement forward. And if somebody tells me to chill, I swear to God, I am dying out there. My people are dying. And I feel that you are doing nothing to help us except for passing shit that makes you feel better. It should be okay to stop and have a real conversation with the entire membership about these important issues. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comments, Lori. I really appreciate them. Up next, I think, was Annabelle. Is that 43rd District Dems, or is that Morgan?
No, that was, I actually don't need to, I yield the floor.
Okay. Any further go to the orders? Okay, Annabelle, do you have the results ready for these votes?
The only one open still is the resignation, the resolution on the calling for the mayor to resign, correct? We received a vote within the last minute. Do we want to give people a final call to vote?
Yeah, is anybody else still waiting? That's the only thing we have open, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is anyone still waiting to vote on that resolution? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So if you could close that and we could go over the results, that would be great, and folks can get off the call.
All right, I will do that. Okay, and for that, Grace, do you want to let me present?
Yes, I think you have a presenter role.
Okay.
If that's incorrect, let me know.
You are right. Okay, so for the resolution on the calling for the for Mayor Durkan to resign, yes received 92 votes, 65.25%. No received 49 votes, 34.75%. So that resolution is adopted.
All right. Thank you for that, Annabelle. Thanks everybody for sticking with us. I don't think we have anything else. I will do my best to reach out to some of you who had comments about how we can do better. We want to do that. We want to be better, and really appreciate it. So thanks for that. Okay, with that, I will declare this meeting adjourned. So thank you, everybody. Morgan, before you leave, can we make sure that we share or save this chat just so we can have folks' feedback?
Yes.
All right. Do we have the resolutions or everything saved, Morgan?
I'm saving the chat right now. Sorry, it's.
Yeah, no worries. So I just want to appreciate the folks sticking around afterwards to discuss, but we should.
Yeah, there were a few final comments, so I was just like, I'll let those come in and then.
All right. Do we have that saved?
Yes.
All right. If we have that saved, then I will end this meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, thanks so much. Really appreciate each and every one of you and the work you do for our community.